Welcome to the internet, my friend. How can I help you?
We're online.
All systems go.
And in your face. You are listening to the golden microphones of the IMC Radio. News, opinions, and your calls.
You gotta see that big picture.
Sometimes if you stop the machine, then you realize, whoa.
You know, you have to have some foresight and think about what kind of an effect is that going to have on air travel.
How important is aviation to you?
How important is aviation to you?
To the base, come to the base, as we set the pace high, breaking the lines.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sun and Fun 2017. I'm Max Gross, a.k.a. Howie Marlin. And we were back deck of Sun and Fun Radio again, doing the IMC Club Radio on a beautiful, what is today, Thursday? Amazing. Time flies when you're being tortured with the Blue Angels flying above us. We may get interrupted every now and then, but we got quite a tight lineup this afternoon, so I'm just going to start in with a brief hello, a shout out to everybody out there who's been watching or listening to us throughout the week. Thank you very much. And I'll have a remix of Monday's show, which was a total disaster as far as production value. So I'll post that at another time. Meanwhile, I'm joined this morning by some really, truly interesting people. One, leaders in the tech world and providing noise like this. No, that's not you guys. It's a free flight system. And with us today is Ashley Kelly and Peter Ring. Peter, how you doing? Thank you, Blue Angels. Hi, Pete. Good morning. I don't have headsets for everybody, so I'm competing for sound. And as we let them go by, let's say I'll do my most famous Dean Martin impersonation. How you doing, Pete?
Not too bad. Excited to be here. And much better temperature here today. And earlier in the week.
I'll say it again.
I said not too much going on. Happy to be here and really enjoying today's weather versus earlier in the week.
And one of the other podcasters just gave me a real sweet smile. Everybody knows what it's like to compete with the noises here at the air show, which is why we're at the air show.
Yep.
So joining us with Pete is Ashley Kelly. Say hi, Ashley.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Ashley. We can hear you over the sound of the jets.
You can? Okay,
yeah.
That's good.
Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah. Where are you from?
I live in Rhode Island, up in Rhode Island in the East Coast.
Okay, I'm from the Vineyard.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, so we're neighbors.
Yep.
And again, apologies for the headsets. Truth is, they got left behind. All right. I'm just fessing up. Meanwhile, I'll just shout if you need to know. Oh, that's great. And so what's your role with the company?
I'm the channel sales manager. Which is great. Means I keep the wheels turning every day.
Oh, now that works. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, and I appreciate the fact that you do that. And Peter, what do you do?
I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing and also our Chief Pilot for Free Flight Systems.
When you say Chief Pilot, are there other pilots?
There are actually other pilots, yes. None of us are really flying too much at the moment, but there are a couple other pilots, yes.
And speaking of other pilots, we have with us today Mark Hansen from PALS. Hey, Mark.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, yeah, you got to remember to put the microphone up.
Mic up, yeah.
That's great. And tell us what you do.
I'm a volunteer pilot at Patient Airlift Services. I like to fly people for no charge from remote areas of the Northeast for medical treatment on a regular basis.
That's PALS, Patient Airlift Services.
That's correct.
And where are you based out of?
I'm based at Plymouth, Mass.
Oh, Plymouth, another neighbor. We're all neighbors. Peter, where are you out of?
I live in Dallas right now, but I grew up just south of Worcester in Massachusetts.
Worcester. All right.
Yeah,
okay, well, we can...
You have the accent down almost.
Yeah, get the accent down. Well, that's great. Well, thank you very much for what you do. And, technology is changing like crazy. And as things are moving along, everybody's trying to keep track. People are trying to adapt to the needs of what's being imposed on us. And ADS-B, which in my humble opinion is probably the best thing that ever happened, being the limitations of radar and the kind of complications which were created. Satellite technology is proving to be absolutely the dream it was meant to be, for the most part. How is it that Free Flight came to be? What was its origins?
So our Free Flight's a company that's been in business for a little bit more than 25 years now. We have our heritage and our history is actually based off of the Trimble Aviation Products Division. And in 2008, we became Free Fly Systems. The owners that we have now bought the company in 2008 with the focus of focusing on next gen, specifically ADS-B, and having the heritage with a GPS technology like Trimble had. Seemed to be a logical choice for them to buy that and then be able to move forward and progress into the next gen airspace.
Well, so you had a vision of the future, and you guys knew what was coming. You had the technology and just adapted. That's wonderful. Yep. What are your specialty items?
Our specialty items. So with the history and heritage of our company, we have a pretty big presence in commercial and military and rotorcraft operations. Right now, we do a little bit now in the general aviation side where we are sort of specialists with the 978 UAT or Universal Access Transceiver form of ADS-B. But we also have ADS-B.
For 18,000 and up?
For 18,000 and below.
Oh, below. Yeah, sorry. See how much I know?
We actually do ADS-B solutions also for airline operators as well. Up to, we've got systems flying today on 747s and up in that level as well. So we can have a ADS-B solution quite literally for anything that anyone would fly.
Well, that's quite a statement. I mean, that's really impressive. Well, and so GA is what percentage of your business is GA?
Right now, that's a good question. Let's say 25, 30%. Is that your thought?
Yeah, I would say that's a fair statement.
You're going to have it closer to...
Sorry. Yeah, I would say around 25-30% of the market, is GA right now.
The landscape of GA is changing. There's a really remarkable change that I've seen over the last few years. I can tell you that 10 years when I got started into it, I went to Oshkosh, and I was standing on top of a tractor trailer, and I looked out over the landscape, and I saw nothing but gray-haired old men. And I turned to the guy next to me and said, well, what a great time for me to get involved. Everybody's going to be dead in 5 years. There's nobody going to be here. So where are the kids? I hardly saw anything but gray hair, not even salt and pepper. Now, though, we have a big change. We're waiting for the third.
I think these are the solos. I think there's only two of them now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And the big change is you, him. You look around the campus, you see lots of kids. What happened?
iPhones happened.
Now, hold on. That's not far from what I believe the truth.
Right.
You see, there's a lag in technology, social awareness. There was a void in GA of that because it was all steam gauges. But now you have a whole generation of kids that have been flying sims for fun. My son, who had a joystick all his life in various sims, he got into a Cirrus, and the guy he got in with said, this natural. Of course, the Cirrus itself has some assets.
Yeah, that's a fairly forgiving airplane, yeah.
Well, the kid didn't do anything that snapped anybody's attention because of his being familiar. But go ahead, you say iPhone.
It's that technological era and that technological revolution, not only that we're seeing on the consumer electronics side of things, but if you take a look back, like you said, 10 years ago, and just go a little bit further, 15 years ago, in the cockpit, the most advanced piece of technology that you had was your transponder, which is 70-year-old technology today. So, I mean, there was really nothing that we were doing to modernize general aviation. And in that general aviation piece, if you don't have people that are getting excited about general aviation, you don't have pilots that are filtering through and moving onto airlines in the military and doing all that.
Right. Mark, from Patient Airlift Services, how long have you been flying?
I only started flying in 2009.
Oh, okay, brother.
And then
you and me.
I started. It was my first attempt at retiring, and I was very determined that I was going to use something that was going to be relatively current technology. So I searched until I found a G1000 plane to train in.
Really?
So I trained in a DA-40, and then a DA-42, and then a Matrix, and then a Meridian.
You trained in a Meridian.
So I progressed, but always on G1000 platforms. So
Okay.
your situational awareness was very good.
Followed by the phrase, nah, 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 nah. Talking to, I got all steam gauges.
Yeah.
And my iPad on the yoke.
Yeah, I mean, I was a Chuck Yeager video game guy early on, so I wanted to be at least somewhat similar to that experience. And in 2009 when we started, G1000s had already been out 3 or 4 years, so it wasn't that it was the latest bestest. It was just getting sort of on the band, on the train that was already leaving the station.
Got it.
And similar story. I mean, the kids. My youngest child is just turned 17, but she started lessons at 16.
Awesome.
And I wanted her to be in a glass panel. It was very hard to find a glass panel trainer south of Boston. So she started in a Skycatcher because it was the closest thing to a full glass panel I could get. And now she's switching to a G1000 172. So, and she finds it very comfortable situational awareness.
That's wonderful. Ashley, do you fly?
I don't know.
What's the matter with you?
I have kids.
Okay.
They take all their money, all the money.
They take
Yeah.
all your money. That I got. I do understand that. And then, for the bitch for me was they go into college.
Yes.
You see. And I had to wait. And then, when that was cleaned up.
Yeah.
Because I started late along with you. But how long have you been flying?
I started flying I got my private in 2000. So
Okay.
I got 17 years of flying.
Okay, that's still rather recent compared to many of the people sitting over there.
Yeah.
And the old people's club.
Similar to a lot of those people I learned when I was in my teens. Unfortunately, my teens were just a slightly more recent time period.
And the problem with me, I grew up in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Which meant my teen years were lost. But anyway, we've since regained them back. But that's great. What's new in Free Flight?
So there's for the lack of sounding boring, there's not much that's new on the general aviation side of things. We're at a position now where our products are at a level of maturity that makes sense and is progressive for the industry, and it's something that's been different now versus in the past is there's products available for people to equip with.
I do not need to hear it's new every year. I need to hear it works, it serves the purpose, and it's doing its job well.
And we do that.
And that's what I hear, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to just make sure people understood of your capability. Now, you provide different products?
Yes, we do.
And what are they?
So for general aviation, we have our ADS-B series, which we call the Ranger, and we spell it wrong. There's no E in there. Just Rain-ger.
More than one person has asked me about that.
Yeah, we
fired the marketing person. Did you?
I wasn't there when they did that, so we'll go. That's my excuse.
I'm just saying, if you go by my autocorrect on my phone, oh my God.
Yeah, it's my autocorrect actually thinks anytime I try to spell something similar to that I'm trying to send that, and so I'm constantly sending people that, and they're like, this doesn't make any sense outside of aviation.
And back on track.
So we have our two different series of the Ranger products. We have the light product, which is sort of the low cost, de-featured entry level unit for the guys that are really looking for your basic installation in order to meet the mandate compliance, be legal, don't have to do any open heart surgery on the aircraft and make any major modifications.
Don't go to Canada.
Don't go to
fly
Canada.
over 18.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a lot of folks out there that'll
That's me.
They don't.
I'm not going to go.
They don't fly outside the United States.
I do not like them Canadians.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you can never
for
trust
you,
them.
I mean, you're close enough to Canada where you're like, well, maybe I might fly over Canada.
And I have actually, one of the reasons why I got the plane, I'm kind of joking, but I'm not, is my wife loves Montreal, and we've been. And I said, we can just bienvenue over it, and it's not that big a deal. Until a friend of mine told me how much they charge for fuel.
They charge a lot for fuel. I've flown into Canada before from Massachusetts in a Cirrus, and it's the immigration process getting into Canada is unbelievably easy and almost uncomfortably easy getting into Canada. Getting back into the States was a completely different experience and much more stringent.
Did you have to go into Bangor?
We went through Burlington. Yes, that's correct.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, it's a little more stringent, was it?
Well, when we landed,
Get a ramp check.
Well, they ramp checked and they scanned the aircraft with a Geiger counter.
For crying out loud!
Yeah. Well,
Was it a Cirrus?
it was a Cirrus, yeah.
What are they picking on Cirrus? They are. You don't fly a Cirrus, do you? Put the mic to your mouth. What do you fly?
No, I don't. I have an Eclipse 500.
Again, nah. Okay, so
What do you have?
An Eclipse 500.
Okay. And you fly patients? 'Cause I get this strain right here. I need to go see a doctor. He's about 800 miles away. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, you can just sign up. You have to have a compelling need. So,
It's very compelling.
no, I actually you beat me to the punch. I said, I have hip dysplasia, and my PCP is out in San Francisco.
Oh, no, that's too far. Yeah, our
Oh.
territory goes from Maine to Ohio to Virginia.
He just moved to Ohio.
And
As
you're
a
all
matter
set.
of fact.
Just give us a call.
Oh, okay. We'll work on that. Well, that's great. And so for the entry level, and this would be the jokers like me with the antique Cessnas.
Yep.
And what kind of price points are we looking at?
You're sub 3,000, and our price includes an internal WASP GPS, so you don't have to have anything panel mounted on the aircraft for that. It'll include your antennas, installation kits, and so forth. So you buy that.
They have your stuff in them.
They actually don't have any ADSB on those aircraft.
They don't need it
on those. Well, legally they have to. That's
by 2020 they will.
Any aircraft utilizing the airspace, manned or otherwise, if they're in that airspace, they have to have it.
Well, the big question is who's going to challenge them.
There's a pretty big push right now for the military programs. And we're involved in a lot of that stuff too.
Thank you. I was joking, and you, of course, it's your business. You take it deadly seriously, so which is very good. The closest thing I've gotten is hearing about something busting a TFR over the Vineyard when the president. Did you hear about that last year?
Yes, I think I remember that. Yeah.
Some joker. You would think that everybody would know. Don't bust the TFRs. Hey, 172 just buzzed right the heck over, and I don't think he lives anymore. I think.
Well, and you can with ADSB, you can have those services for ADSB in where you can see where the TFRs are, either on an iPad or a panel mount display.
And for me, that's really important. Yeah. I can't begin to tell you how vital it is for me to check with flight service and double check those TFRs because we got guys coming in Nantucket.
Yep.
But my due diligence on giving a disclaimer on that is it is advisories only, and I will not ever recommend tactically avoiding a TFR or severe weather with ADSB in services as your guidance through there.
Situational awareness, it makes your world better.
Yep.
So that's great. Where can people find you on the interweb?
We've got a couple different websites. We've got our main website, which is freeflightsystems.com. Then we have a website that is dedicated directly to the general aviation products that we sell, which is equipit2020.com. And you'll find us at both those places. Here on the grounds, you can find us in Hangar C if you happen to be here.
Well, this will be aired throughout the year, so it's nice if anybody is on here at campus in Sun and Fun. They're in Hangar B. But are you on the Facebook?
We're on Facebook. Free Flight Systems are on Facebook, and I've got a Free Flight Twitter account also, which is at Free Flight Pete.
Oh, good.
And
Snapchat?
I need to be more active on there. No, I don't use
eyeglasses
Snapchat.
with the horns.
No, I determined recently that I'm too old for Snapchat, but still too young for Life Alert.
Yeah, well, I'm getting towards the Life Alert side. I can't do Snapchat. I don't even flip and tweet. I mean, I got a Twitter account, and I listen to everybody around here, but I don't bother posting.
For a long time, I had a person that actually did the tweeting
for
me. Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter did it for me in the past.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I mean, all the pictures that are on there are from my actual trips and my travels and all that stuff, but any of the actual written messages are very rarely actually from me.
Well, there's no two ways about it. You can't fight growing old, but you can fight growing older. and your attitude is wonderful. I mean, having an open heart, the joy for aviation and spreading the love of it around, that's the critical thing. And the beauty of it, because of people like you, we're really allowing more folks into the fold. Your technology allowing those of us, and I work in human services, so I'm limited on the funds, allowing us to take advantage of technology. Thank you very much for that. And you will certainly be hearing from me. I'm nothing personal. It's just the right answer for me. But other than that, you want to give a shout out to anybody before we take a break?
Yeah. If my mother's listening, which I'm sure she's actually going in and getting a hip replacement this afternoon. So
shake it, baby.
She'll be happy to hear that, and so I'll say hi to her and wish her some good luck.
All right, I want to hear about her doing the hippie shake when she gets out.
Listen, you might get to meet her at Oshkosh this year if she comes out.
Oh, so. That's wonderful. And Ashley, want to say hi to anybody?
Nope.
Where can people find you? She wants to say hi to her kids.
Oh yeah, those.
Microphone to the mouth. Say hi to the kids.
I'll say hi to Mason and Cameron. They're
Mason,
home in Rhode Island. Yeah.
Well, wonderful. And how can people reach you over at Free Flight?
I answer the main phones every time it rings. So if they just call our main number, which is 254-662-0, I will answer the phone.
What was that number?
254-662-0000.
0000.
Yep.
Yeah. When I started working here, I didn't realize that was a real phone number you could have either.
I work at the ER with this. That's 0111, and people get tripped up on that. Well, wonderful. Thank you both very much. Truly appreciate it. Peter, again, I appreciate it. Ashley, thank you very much for following through. Just put your mics down. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be back from a break from Sun and Fun 2017.
The views and opinions expressed on Plain Talk are of the host, its guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views of the IMC Club or IMC Club International.
Well, we are back unbelievably. We just had a very smooth transition, if there is such a thing. Jason, baby, pick up the microphone and say hi to everybody.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing real good. I'm going to come over and shake the hand.
Good to see you, man.
Well, I got to say, Brad, sharing the table now at the IMC Club is Brad Mazzari, who is one of aviation's most staunch advocates. I mean, wherever there is an air show, there's Brad.
True.
And before we get on to other things, how you doing? Anything new and interesting in Pipistrel?
We're plugging away at it. Not a lot. We've, as you know, we're getting ready to the Pantera. We're working with the FAA because it's going to probably be the poster child of how the Part 23 rewrite is, so we're kind of putting pause. Number two, we took out of the production cycle because we put the hybrid engine, the electric engine in it, so it's not, we can't use it for certification.
Okay, so that's in development. All right. That's cool. That's exciting.
The other thing is our big shiny jet. Our Cetus motor glider. We're now, internally we call it the Max because we've taken it to the full 1320, which added another 80 pounds of usable weight to it.
And now what's the Max?
1320 under LSA rules.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, good. Welcome aboard. Glad you're here. So tell me, Jason, baby, what's new to M0A?
We're working on finishing up our CFI online ground school, multi-engine online ground school, collegiate aviation program now we have with National American University. A lot of cool stuff happening.
Boom. Now, what's the deal you have? You sign up and we'll take you all the way through?
Pass your check ride or we'll pay for it. As crazy as that sounds. And I'll even redeem that for you, Howie. Don't you worry. I hear you're a trouble student sometimes.
Oh, God, I never pass anything the first time around. I don't know what... I've known to fail some pretty important tests by 1 point.
Yes.
Twice. And for people who know that I'm talking about, they're cringing. But anyway, I took my instrument 3 years ago. I got an 89 on it, which was great. No, that was great. But I didn't have the ability to do the practical. So I have to retake it.
Yeah,
and
2
you know
years.
what happens with 62-year-old memories.
I've got 2 gray hairs. I'm getting there. I understand.
It's amazing. You know
Oh,
what
you're
happens?
so old.
Do you know what happens?
That principle of disuse.
Do you know what?
Exactly. You're already
Did
forgetting.
you know? What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
So, what's really... I watch and love your videos. First of all, I want to give a big nod to the style of your production. I love the fact that, GoPros are becoming so commonplace. We're pretty much getting used to the odd placement or the not perfect perspectives. You seem to always have a couple mounted, more often than not 3.
Right.
So you're giving different perspectives. But the point I'm making is that it's a very a comfortable, without surprises presentation. It's not overproduced, but they don't need to be overproduced.
Right.
And it's not for a lack of production value, because your production values have gotten better. Somebody's doing a lot of really smart editing.
That guy right there.
Hey, guy right there. Dude, you rock. Well, that's wonderful because it makes many fewer opportunities for distraction during
Absolutely.
the presentation. Getting rid of the and things which will cause people to...
And mounting it to your window and having it vibrate during the whole shoot.
That happens sometimes.
Mark, do you GoPro any of your flights?
We do. We GoPro all the ones that are Make-A-Wish type of flight. And then every now and then we'll do a special patient end-to-end.
Wait. I want to comment
Mark
one thing
Hansen,
on what
Jason Shepard. Have you guys met?
No.
Nice to meet you, man.
How are you?
He's from Patient Airlift
Services. Yeah.
Wonderful
Howie?
service. Yeah, yes, sir.
One
Over
thing
here.
I want to notice that you just said, notice that like Kleenex, GoPro has become a verb. It's become ubiquitous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fridge.
Yeah, like
Kleenex.
Kleenex. Hand me a Kleenex. You GoPro'd up your airplane. You didn't video it up.
Yeah, well, brand leaders pull that off, yeah.
There's a lot to be said for marketing. There's a lot to be said for the style in which they present their product to the market. And I was at Oshkosh when they were throwing GoPros out into the crowd. I remember that for years. That was an amazing experience because you had visceral reaction from 200 people all at the same time, and they never lose that.
Yeah.
So somebody was thinking.
They were, because I also remember at 2012, they had a special on that were basically 90% of what they were selling them for, marked down 10%. They had the semi-trailer there. They ran out, and they smartly said, here's your certificate. Right. And they just kept selling rain checks.
Brilliant. Well, speaking of brilliance, with all the different educational programming out there, why have you grown? And it's a rhetorical question. I have my opinion, but I'd like to hear yours.
Our entire business model is a give away the best content, knowing that it'll come back to you. I believe in life that if you want success, help others find success.
Boom.
You want, that's our whole philosophy.
Well, obviously, that's why you and I get along. I mean, I'm paying it forward now in this part of my life.
Yes.
No, I'm in human services. I run drug programs, and I work with the opioid crisis and alcohol issues and with people in need. And I go in advance and meeting them where they're at to help them. And you meet people where they're at in their education and help them in this beautiful, delightful, powerful industry.
Yes.
Now, keep in mind, it's all from the heart, no matter what you do. And yeah, it's true. I come from a medical area, and yours is from technical. But the passion behind it and the way in which we do it is identical. And I think that's why I migrated over to... I actually was... The first time I saw you, I laughed my ass off.
Yes.
I said, look at this yokum. Look at this little skinny kid. You got the other people who've been at it forever, and then you've got the big tech companies with their ultra high-end graphics, and then the other ultra technical companies that also offered high-end. And here comes Jason.
That's kind of what it was like.
Yep, I've got this funny accent, and I'm too energetic, and I got too big a smile, and I just can't stop laughing because it's all funny to me.
And I'm going to get rusty pilots who've been doing this longer than I've been alive back into the cockpit.
That's a true story. That was hard to do.
I haven't stopped watching you since.
Yes.
And that's my point. You see, there's nothing negative about it. It's just purely Good. And yeah, your youthful exuberance is first and foremost, and that is 100% asset. There's no two ways about it. The market you're going after is your market.
Yes.
They speak your language. You know how to operate the face machine. You know how to do the Twitter spear.
Yes.
The Snapchat chat snap.
Yes.
Yeah. The glitter, the swipe left, swipe right thing.
Yeah.
That's your.
I'm not allowed to be on that one. But yeah,
that's
I'm
your,
married. You know.
No, I thought there was an aviation
Oh,
one.
could be.
This plane. This plane. Oh,
I like that plane.
That's a great idea.
That is.
I'm telling you.
That is a good idea.
Oh my God! I just tripped on a really cool idea. Oh, we're going to talk. Wow. Well, you see, but it's your energy, the attitude.
Yes.
What is some of the wicked groovy stuff that you've released over the year?
My big push right now is the difference between currency versus proficiency. I don't want just current pilots. Current pilot says, I did the FAA 3 takeoffs and landings, I can carry passengers. Okay. A proficient pilot says, would I take my wife flying? Would I take a
Brad's
friend
raising
flying?
his hand. That's not you.
Are you
He's
current
just
or
chuckling.
proficient, Brad?
Right now, I'm.
Wait,
right
you have
now,
to
I'm.
understand-
Right now, I'm not even current, but I will be by the end of the week.
You have to understand, this is an imposing figure. The guy is almost 7 feet tall. He's got a handlebar mustache straight out of the 1800s and a shit-eating grin that he just won't want to wipe off his face. So listen, when he waves his hand, you got to understand he's got something to say.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah. That's
right
awesome.
now, I'm only current. I'm not proficient.
Ooh, feel the burn. And, Monsieur, I have a friend of mine who's very interested in flying, and I've been doing a lot of flying with him. We went down just before sunset, and we were ready to go up. And I said, hold on, dude, let me do 3. So we went up, we did 3, and then we did 15 more. The two of us, right into dark, right in the pattern, kept it up and sort of started nailing them.
Wow.
As the perspective changes, as the light changes, and I got a brand new Whalen in the front,
Yes.
which really changed my world. And I want to just rock Whalen and let you guys know, all the new technologies are an asset. And I'm not married to anybody, but I upgraded that. So my night, I seem to make better landings at night. Perspective changes.
I get it. Yeah.
And my flares are more, I have to say. I mean, now if I want to give somebody an intro flight, I'm going to take them at night.
Yeah. There you go.
So what else is new? I know I went off track.
So we're pushing that a lot.
Enough about you.
We're
We're going to talk. No, go ahead.
We're doing a lot of seaplane stuff here, too. A lot of stick and rudder, a lot of J3 Cub on floats, J3 Cub tail wheel, and just really kind of, and AOPA is doing a big push of this, too, kind of like get back to your roots concept. I think a lot of us get so spoiled with beautiful G1000 screens and iPads, all of which I'm a huge advocate of, but I worry that we're becoming too self-reliant on this technology. We don't have that core stick and rudder skill anymore.
I am thrilled. I last year did 1 hour in Cub on floats over at Jack Brown's.
Yes, very fun.
Came back, my meeting canceled, and I've been kicking myself in the butt ever since. For 2 more hours, I could have gotten my rating. I had the time and the ability, but I kind of blew that. And I don't have that this year, which is a shame. Maybe I should go back. I don't know. I'll think about that. So do you got your wet ticket?
Yes, absolutely. And now I joined a seaplane flying club, actually, so I can keep it up as well. It's that currency proficiency thing again. So.
Oh, look, seaplane. It's painted blue. It says Navy on it, seaplane.
Well, there is a dart out here. For those of you guys that remember the World War II jet made out of cast iron, that thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, well, that's awesome. So,
Very cool.
What have you flown into the wet? What have you flown into the water?
Those Blue Angels are real loud. Mostly just the Cub right now.
Oh, okay.
There's a Sea Ray out there as well I want to get in. But,
yes.
They're
right down the road.
They sure are. They sure are. Yeah, so that's out there. But there's something special about a 1946 tube and fabric airplane on floats. Like you're looking at a tachometer, and oil pressure, and airspeed. And that's it. I mean, when they say stick and rudder, they really mean it.
I have a confession. Back in high school, I learned to steer with my knee. I won't tell you what I was doing. I had coffee in my right hand and a cigarette in my left. But anyway, I'm in this Cub, and I got my GoPro in my right hand, facing forward. I've got my cell phone in my left hand, facing backwards. And I got the stick with my knee, I doing? They go, you're doing great. And I'm turning left. I'm turning right. Stick with my... Now, of course, I'm in the back. He doesn't see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And, of course, he's doing and I told him I'm doing this without hands, and made him laugh his butt off. And he goes, that's awesome. And I made really nice controlled turns, so that was pretty good. But anyway, I don't recommend that to anybody,
Yes.
but that was a lot of fun. I made some good video, and I almost lost the damn GoPro. You know, the thing splashed, poosh, went on. But speaking of GoPros, do you have any hanging outside your Eclipse there, Mark?
No, somebody's done it before, but I've not been that person.
Really? Yeah. Did they attach little umbrellas to them, parachutes to catch them?
No. But I guess the suction cups are supposed to be good to what?
I told him just to wash it.
Yeah, that was good.
My son, I don't understand. I told him just to wash it.
Yeah. No, suction cups are supposedly good to about 170. So we have to fly pretty slow. But it's not, we're fine flying around at 120 in the plane. So.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Just briefly before we let go of you, what are some of the missions that you've done? You did something in Boston recently, which was really impressive.
Week, we had a really a great example of our mission. People get bad diagnosis on a regular basis, and they may be 300 or 400 miles away from the best doctor. So they, in a family situation, they're not only hearing bad news, they have to figure out how they're going to get to treatment in a way that's just not taking multiple days out of their work week.
Right.
Perfect example, last week, 2 New York State troopers were diagnosed. Prenatally, their child was diagnosed with a heart condition. 36 hours after birth at Boston Children's, had its first open heart surgery. So for the next 7 months, they were driving back and forth between upstate New York and Boston, which was between a 6 and 8 hour drive, depending on the day, having to take away work and just generally going through that hardship alone. The Children's Heart Foundation connected them to us about a week and a half ago, and they were due at Boston Children's the next day. So flew out to upstate New York, picked them up, and 45 minutes later they were in Boston. 30 minutes later they're at their apartment that Boston Children's had set up, and 2 days later it had its little Piper had her 7th open heart surgery.
7th surgery.
Right. So
that's remarkable, and it got some interesting coverage.
It got coverage from all the Boston television channels. But
wait, there's more.
There is more. Yeah, it was unbeknownst to me. There were 2 helicopters filming my landing and my taxi. So luckily, I was on center line on everything that day. But no, Piper has a GoFundMe page.
But wait, there's more.
There's more
above and beyond this. This is why we're here, by the way.
Right, and that's how we did it. Thank you again. You got that, right?
Yeah. Well, there you go, and there's the secret that we gave out all the
and there was $1 million involved.
Yeah, we don't have to redact a thing. There you go.
No.
So wait, there was more. There was coverage by a little-known national magazine.
Oh, People Magazine did.
Nobody's ever heard of that.
No, but they did a special
and they didn't
interest
care
story.
about that in the UK either, right?
No, and then the Daily Mail in the UK picked it up and copied the video and did their own article on little baby Piper as well.
Meaning that Patient Airlift Services is doing, pretty much God's work. I mean, God bless you for it.
Yeah, we try. I mean, it's really. I mean, people are going through a lot of hardship, and a lot of them just don't know about our organization or the services that are available. Similar services are available across the country. Our organization got founded about just under 7 years ago. We've done a little over 11,500 flights since then and are growing steadily. We've got just under 400 pilots. Dollar value, we've estimated that we've given back about $4.5 million to the public for transportation. And we just continue to grow. So it's a wonderful organization. We spend a lot of time pilot-focused to make it very easy for the pilot to find flights, sign up for flights, eliminate paperwork. We're using technology. You can sign liability waivers on your iPhone. It's no paperwork.
You're using technology and you fly in Eclipse?
Yeah. Gee.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. Well, I'm head of the technology committee as well, so I try to... So there's no excuse for not having good technology in our pilot community. We also go out of our way to try to make the pilots get together. A lot of volunteer organizations, you just sign up and you get made aware of opportunities to serve. We want our pilots to know each other, to know that we care, and to talk to each other about the missions and really celebrate the fact that we are, doing good service to these people in need. And we have another program. I don't know if I have enough time to talk about that, but the Pals for Patriots program.
We have all the time in the world. I'm sure Jason will wait a minute.
Yeah, so the Pals for Patriots program, Major League Baseball is on our board of directors. And Walter Reed and Quantico are in the D.C. area where most of our more seriously wounded veterans go. So we'll go down once or twice a month during the baseball season and pick up wounded veterans. We'll fly them to a baseball game, take them on the field, meet the players, have a VIP box, go to dinner, and then the next day we'll fly them home.
Brilliant. That's just fantastic.
It's a wonderful program, and the National Hockey League just signed up with us, and we did our first event with them about a month ago. We went down and picked up 3 wounded veterans, very sobering, all amputees, and a service dog, and flew them to a New York Rangers game. So.
Well, I'm sure a lot of the hockey players themselves will appreciate your services.
Yes. Yeah. Another story, but yeah, lifelong injuries, yes.
Well, thank you very much for everything you do. I really do appreciate it. I mean, Patient Airlift Services, where can people find you on the interweb?
On the interweb or internet?
On the interweb.
Okay, you're 62, I'm 61, so between the two of us, we'll get it right. So the phone number is...
On the face chat.
And the face chat, there we go. We are on Facebook. Our website is palsflight.org, so PALS flight.org.
He's actually reading that off of Cozy.
That's the new website, that's why, because the old one is palsservices.org.
We don't want to know that, though.
It's okay, they both
What's
work.
the new one again?
palsflight.org.
Okay.
And then our phone number is 888-818-1231. And
for those of us who don't remember, what is it again?
888-818-1231.
And?
So, again, thank you. It's been great talking to you guys. And, even if you only fly one flight every 2 years, signing up with us is a great thing. If you go to our website, you'll see a pilots button at the top. There's an application that's online. And, again, you need about 350 hours of PIC time and an instrument ticket to fly for us. And if you fly a twin or a turbine, you need 500 hours of PIC time.
Well, I'll be looking to get my turbine twin and my CFII backflip
there we go.
in French ticket. But again, thank you very much. I'm just going to let you go so you can mosey on.
Great, thanks so much. Yeah, thanks. Nice meeting you guys as well.
Shake the hands.
Thanks.
They're nice people. They don't.
Nice to meet you, bro.
And I personally will be in touch with you.
Great.
And we'll be doing
much.
lunch soon.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to take a minute for just a little service announcement. I'll be right back.
National Air Force Base at Sierra 1455 Zulu weather. Wind 34013, gust 23.
The views and opinions expressed on Plane Talk are of the host, its guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views of the IMC Club or IMC Club International.
Okay, we actually got away with that without a JetBlue flyover. No, that was a Blue Angel flyover. I want to pick up where we left off, and so. Brad, you had some interesting things to talk about. And before we get back with you, Jason, the Heli Expo. Now, I'm part of the Flying Musicians Association, and I missed an opportunity for us to perform at the Heli Expo a couple of years ago. And I've been kicking myself in the butt for that. What's your involvement there?
I was covering it for another podcast, the Airplane Geeks podcast. And Heli Expo is really different than you are here, where here shorts and T-shirts, as Jay is demonstrating here.
I'm a true Florida native, so this is approved attire.
That's uniform.
Yeah, but at Heli Expo, suits and sport jacket and tie, and if you were casual, open collar was the uniform.
Open collar Fridays?
Yeah, and walking around just in my, chinos with my regular
team shirt
on, I was the low dressed one. You could spot the journalists because we didn't have.
Well, come on,
suit coats on.
The average asset is a couple of million, right? So,
right.
yeah.
The other fun that's different about it is that it's very, very niche because you get in and you're like, well, what do you guys do? Oh, we're the number one producer of Jesus nuts, and you're like, okay, that's something that not everybody needs, and you're this. We handle flight dispatching for your fleet. Well, my dispatching consists of deer. Can I go fly today? But it was still a lot of fun. I got some great interviews with Leonardo Helicopter, which is what used to be Augusta Bell. They've been merged. Yeah. And it was a good time.
Well, that's wonderful. Jason, have you gotten into Rotary yet?
I want to so bad. I want to branch into that in a way, and I hear that the transition from fixed to rotorcraft is challenging. I'm always up for a challenge. So,
have you done a Redbird yet?
I have. That can be tough too.
And has that freaked you out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Made me sweat.
Absolutely.
Made me sweat. I swear to God.
They were at Heli Expo, and they were showing their new
multi-axis.
Yeah, their new simulator, and the big selling point there, and this may sound trivial, but the big selling point was that it ran on 110, didn't require multiple 220 30 amp hookup. It ran on 110 and also ran at room temperature. So you could roll it into a normal facility.
Yeah. Well, that's a tremendous asset for those of us who have experienced it. Any simulator is awesome. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the Microsoft gig. But when you start stepping up and you get into the multiple screens, and then you get into feedback where the joystick, and then the seat shakes, then you get into the tilt. Man alive, no wonder you can log, 20 hours?
Towards instrument, yeah.
Yep. And because as far as anybody cares, what you're going to do down here, you're going to do up there, and you get the same visceral reaction. So it's interesting. Now, I have flown in a couple of helicopters, and I will tell you, in the Redbird, all I did was crash over and over and over. Different in the real thing.
Yes.
I got the cyclic fine. I love the fact I'm a drummer, so I can, it's okay for me not thinking about what other appendages are doing.
Right.
And that's really what you're doing. And so I tell people, when they say they want to do Rotary, I say, can you pat your head and rub your tummy? Let's start with that. If you can't do that, we should be talking about something else.
Yes.
Because you're going to be doing a lot of patting and a lot of rubbing. But have you ever flown a autogyro?
No, I was just meeting with a gentleman who's going to take me out down in Eustis area, a little bit around here. We're going to go do it next week.
And I did from Sebring. I flew in one of the autogyros here.
Yeah, how was it?
Phenomenal. I got to tell you, I fell in love with it. The stability was unbelievable. We had about 10-knot headwind.
Right.
Took about 100 feet. Off we went.
It's amazing.
And we went over a pit, and there was a bucket loader in the center of the pit. And we were circling around it in a really tight circle. And he goes, watch this. He goes, I think the wind's picked up. We're doing about 15 or so from the north. He turned it back. We went up at about a 30 degree, and we were full throttle, and we were right on top. He goes, this is effectively hovering. We're actually flying up and into the wind, if you will. But that aircraft was staying positioned.
What's that landing like then? It lands like a little bit in between both, a fixed and a rotor, or what?
It is. In my Cherokee with my Horton stall kit and the Hershey bar wings, I'm coming in at a nice, fair elevator angle. And I'm going to tell you right now, that I finally learned how to land that Horton.
Yes.
Pretty much identical. I mean, it comes down, and you're like an elevator, and you flare to wash off the rest of the energy, and you just sit it down. And I was like, wait a minute, this works.
What kind of rollout, like 10 feet?
It was maybe 50.
Wow.
I mean, and I think that's because he wanted to keep taxiing. He probably could have stopped.
Yeah.
But I wasn't challenging him at the time. But it was so soft. And he jokingly said at the top, he goes, well, I'm going to pull the engine out. And it's an engine out landing.
Wow.
Because that's how you land them. They're all engine out.
Wow.
I mean, that's how you do it.
Right.
So what if you lost an engine? Nothing. It's the same.
Wow.
And you can, any parking lot will do.
That's so cool.
Now, we do hear of mishaps, and you can do mishaps in anything. I mean, you got people killed in golf carts every year, especially here around the villages. Oh, here comes, just like perfect timing. I think we're going to, the guy's here to tend to the outhouses, so we'll be messing with that. But you need to be proficient, you need to be engaged, you need to be actively on top of your game, flying ahead of the aircraft.
Yes.
This is what you're all about. This is what the Pilot Proficiency Program is all about.
Yes.
And the IMC Club EAA program of keeping you sharp, keeping you proficient, helping you fly ahead of the aircraft is the primary focus in our lives. Yes, of course, you want to fly bigger and badder, but to be ahead of the game. That's why I don't have my CFI, but I love teaching.
Right.
And I should go ahead and get I forget what the ground teacher.
Advanced ground instructor. That's what I am.
Yeah. So, and you, Pat, I'm sorry, Brad, you were looking at something. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, I was going to say where I've been at the bottom end of what Jason's been doing, because one of the fun things I've got is that here at Sun and Fun, I'm on the education stop by with the school kids that are doing the tours.
Yes.
And what we do is, I take them out because we've got a glider. And what the three things I hit on them to is the three sound bites that I hit the kids up with is that you point at it and you go, you can solo this aircraft at 14, and I get a bunch of eyebrows go up. And it's like you can get your license before you can get your driver's license. More eyebrows come up.
As a glider.
And then you go talk to them and you go, why would you want to do that? Because here's the conversation, is that, Dad, Steve and I are going to the movies. Be back by 10. Wait, time out, Dad. 2 federal safety inspectors from your government have certified me to be mature enough to operate a aircraft in the national airspace in the public interest. Let's start talking about midnight.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Dad, you're disagreeing? May I see your safety certifications?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a lose.
And I got kids going, ooh, and I had a dad in the back going, would you stop talking?
That's very funny.
The other one I do is I tell the kids, stop, and I went, hey, Gloria, you want to go to see the latest Transformer movies and get a pizza? Hey, Michelle, you want to fly down to Kissimmee for a burger, and on the way back we'll ask permission and fly over Universal Studios on the way home? And I'm like, what's a cooler date? And oh, by the way, parents like daylight dates. And I had a mom in the back go, well, that's true. And then she went, oops.
Hey, how about gliders?
I have flown a glider a few times. It's something I want to seriously pursue.
I mean, have you turned the engine off and that's your glider?
No. I've been a legit glider, but I am not the gliding expert, but I'm sitting next to the gliding expert right now.
Who's that?
Well, he's got a great mustache. That's all I can say.
Brad Mazzari?
It could be. I mean, look, that is a gliding mustache if I ever saw one.
Can you see it just flapping in the wing?
Yes.
It's like that little string in the front.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where'd you get your glider experience?
Right down from SALSAIR, which actually stands for San Antonio Light Sport Aircraft in San Antonio. And if you're already a glider, like, oh boy, we can hear them pumping. If you're already a regular pilot like Jason, or any super pilot like Jason, you can get your glider license in like 2 weekends, especially down there, because the requirement is 10 solo landings or launches. Landing implies launch, okay? But since it's a self-launch motor glider, it's like doing 10 solos in a regular airplane. And because you already have your PPL, there's no, you don't have to do the endorsement for the radio. There's no written. You just go up and all you have to do is take the practical. And in the practical, all you have to do is show that you can do the energy management and find a thermal and how to do that.
Now, let's talk about, Jason.
Yes.
Energy management, thermals, engine outs. We practice engine outs. We tend to be pretty darn close to the pattern, and just because things happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Something happened to you, Brad?
No, what I was going to say is the difference being, and
you guys can fight among each other.
I'm going to talk specifically about my favorite company, Pipistrel, where you can fly it as a airplane all day long. But the point being is every landing is an engine out landing, because when you pull the throttle to idle and when you're flying your airplanes, whatever they are, think about it, you're pulling the throttle to idle at over the fence, over the thresholds, over the numbers, depending on your particular airplane and the wind that day. For me, I'm pulling the throttle at idle at pattern entry. You know, I'm going to idle because at idle the engine's developing zero thrust, zero drag. I'm chopping the throttle. I'm reaching up and pulling out my air brakes, and that becomes my throttle.
Wow.
Because I'm at 80 knots at 1,000 feet in the pattern. I am throwing energy out the back of the airplane.
Well, you got a glide ratio of 10 million to 1.
Yeah, 27 to 1. But the point being, and one of the things that we teach that Jason will get really excited about is one of the things we do for the students is about your fourth or fifth landing, you'll pull the air brake out, and I'll reach up and slap it and grab it and pull it all the way back and say, okay, air brakes are stuck in the open position. Land the airplane. And they'll fly their normal pattern, and then becomes the real brave thing. You're waiting for him to realize that he isn't going to make it. And he'll realize, and he'll finally go, we aren't going to make this. And what you do is you go, oh, air brakes are fixed, and you pop them up, and he goes from an 16 to 1 glide ratio to suddenly a 27 to 1 glide ratio, and effectively he goes, tweet.
Flattens out.
He flattens out, and he's made the runway. And then what I'll do is we'll go, okay, let's go around. You've touched down, and whether we had the engine on or off doesn't matter. We'll start the engine. You'll take you back up. The next time, just as he reaches up for the brakes, I'll slap his hand and go, oh, they're stuck in the down position. Dadgummit. And what happens is I say, go ahead and land me on the numbers. And he'll fly, and just out of habit, he'll fly the exact same pattern. And what will happen is you'll say, put me on the numbers. And then as you go over, well, I really meant those numbers back there. And then about halfway down the runway, we got about 5,000 feet, you'll say, oh, the brakes are done. And he'll open them up. And suddenly you'll sit down in the last part of the runway. And I can tell you I'm going to do that to you, Jason, but until you viscerally do it, and then suddenly you realize, whoa, these things really do work, and I can play with them.
It's a real-world training scenario. That's what we try to do. I teach engine failures on takeoff. I mean, you go back to Captain Sullenberger laying on the Hudson River. In some of his interviews, he mentions he attributes the success to being a glider pilot. Is the reason he knew what to do that. You know, that's how he knew to make it happen.
Well, it absolutely is. Both of them will tell you.
Yeah.
And that made it amazing.
But that's the difference between what happens in a book, what happens on a checklist even, and what happens in the real world sometimes. And how do you train for all those scenarios like that? And that's not in any book. You know, that's just something you know because you're a good instructor.
And I beat into my friends who were taking instruction, focus on your primary. Focus on the basics, because that's what you're going to rely on when the stuff hits the fan. You're going to try to take out a checklist, but in the meantime, you're jumping around. It may be windy. You can't really be looking. And the bottom line is you want to rely on what you know. Hopefully you get time to take the checklist and do what's right. But you should already know them.
Yes.
Full disclosure,
yep.
I'm not a CFIG. That's what they do to me, and that's what we make them do at Pipistrel to all our things. I wanted if I implied that I'm the CFIG, but we even tell the kids I'm going to do that to them. And then I put them in with Dave, or if I'm taking them up for a joy ride, we do that.
Well, very cool. Anything new this year for you in the last couple of minutes?
John Glenn's Baron is here. It's on the Warbird ramp on 5 and 2-3. M0A.com is sponsoring it at all the air shows. AOPA Fly-In, Sun and Fun, Oshkosh.
Wow.
It'll be there. Get your picture taken in front of it. And today is John Glenn's actual funeral as well. Flags are at half-mast, everything else.
And
so it's
nod to John, and my Lord, what a fantastic individual for aviation and personally, and that's wonderful. This podcast airs throughout the year. And I doubt that many will hear it today precisely, but thank you for that.
Yes.
Where can people find you on the interweb?
M0A.com.
M0A.com. Do you got a face chat or a Snapbook?
Oh, yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Snapchat, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're everywhere, man. We're going to be on that new app where you're going to swipe, and that one that you're creating, I'll be the first one.
Well, you see, that's the fact that, of course, you're into it. That's your world, and that's where you should be.
Yes.
And I'm really thrilled to be part of it. I really appreciate what you do. Thank you very much for joining us. I mean, you're always great to have, and you can pretty much expect to be on each year, so we'll just keep going with that.
Thanks, Howie.
Other than that, I wish you well, Jason, buddy. I want to shake your hand. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
my
much.
friend.
Brad Mazzari, truly appreciate it. Any shout-outs? Oh, wait, you want to say goodbye to anybody? Hello to anybody? Come on.
I have
All year.
I have a little baby boy due in like 2 weeks.
I
So,
know.
Yes.
Either that or your wife needs. No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. And any friends you want to say hello to? We've got 1 minute left.
The only shout out I want to give that I'm really impressed with, that's like the precursor to getting people into Jason's world, is EAA 25th Anniversary Flight Experience. It's right here. This is one of only 2 aviation events they're going to, because I volunteered with them. They went to South by Southwest. They're going to counter programming. They're going to non-aviation events. You bring the kids out, they get to make a cookie cutter out of metal, pull a rivet, and you're like, hey, you do that 1,000 more times, you got an airplane. And they make a glider, they do a virtual tour, and they've got 2 Red Bull simulators. And we put the kids, they have to land at Oshkosh. But the point being is they're counter programming. So that's my shout out to EAA's 25th Anniversary Aviation Experience.
Excellent job, Brad. Well, on behalf of Sun and Fun 2017, IMC Club, and EAA, Howie out. See you next time.
So take pride in